For the debate, the member for London, Windsor West.
Thank you, Speaker. It's my pleasure to rise today on behalf of my constituents of Windsor West to speak to this important legislation, Bill 148. I'd like to thank my colleague opposite, the member for Scarborough Agincourt, for bringing this issue forward. I would also like to thank the Ontario NDP critic for seniors, the member from London Fanshawe, for all the work that she does on this file and her strong advocacy for seniors' issues in Ontario. Bill 148, the Protection of Vulnerable Seniors in the Community Act 2015, is an important and timely piece of legislation, and I am proud to offer my support to this bill. First and foremost, this bill will raise the awareness of elder abuse and the protection of seniors, which is particularly important as our senior demographic continues to grow. According to 2011 census data, 15.7% of the population of the City of Windsor was over the age of 65, an increase of 7% from 2009. There are currently 2 million seniors aged 65 and over, or 14.6% of the population who reside in Ontario. From 2009 to 2011, people over the age of 65 living in Windsor increased by 9%, to a total of 15.7% of our population in 2011. This amounts to approximately 30,000 residents. Speaker, seniors are a growing and incredibly important demographic that contributes so much to my community. That said, the level of senior abuse in this province is nothing short of alarming. Of the estimated 2 million seniors living in Ontario, between 40,000 and 200,000 seniors have experienced or are experiencing elder abuse. Clearly, more needs to be done to help one of our growing and most vulnerable populations. If passed, this legislation would amend the Substitute Decision Act and the Regulated Health Professions Act to mandate that regulated health professionals who have reasonable grounds to suspect that a senior living in the community is being abused or neglected must report that suspicion to the police or the public guardian and trustee. Health professionals who report such a suspicion in good faith are protected from intimidation, dismissal, or reprisal. Speaker, that's a very important part of the bill. We need to make sure that those people that we expect to advocate for the seniors that are being abused, that those advocates are protected from reprisal for coming forward. It will be an act of professional misconduct for a regulated health professional to fail to report a reasonable suspicion that a senior is being abused or neglected. Speaker, we need to act now to prevent senior abuse. It's clear that this government has failed to make this a priority over the years. Just last week, the Auditor General found alarming delays for home care assessments. The Auditor General indicated that there are no provincial minimum service levels required for personal support services and that supports for caregivers are limited and inconsistent across Ontario. I would like to read a quote from the Auditor General's report that highlights these issues. Quote, "Our audit of long-term care found that delays by the Ministry in conducting complaint and critical incident inspections and ensuring that homes correct deficiencies identified place residents at risk. We found that the Ministry often did not take timely action to ensure residents were safe and their rights were protected." End quote. Health Quality Ontario reports in their annual report 2015 that distress is growing amongst informal caregivers who do not have enough supports. Speaker, too many people in southwestern Ontario are experiencing issues with seniors' care. Last year, our local CCAC was reassessing home care recipients at an alarming rate. Seniors in my riding were asked to administer their parents' intravenous medication and put in other uncomfortable situations. Speaker, my bill dealing with these issues has yet to be called to committee, and I can only hope that this bill does not suffer the same delays. In southwestern Ontario, the Leamington Court Retirement Home will be closing 24 beds. Residents like Evelyn Nevin and her husband will be displaced and moved to an alternate location. The reason they went to Leamington Court in the first place was due to the shocking wait time at long-term care homes in the City of Windsor. We need action to reduce wait times for long-term care homes, but given the Auditor General's report, it makes it clear that this government is failing Ontarians. Speaker, it's really important that legislation that protects the most vulnerable and those who are put out to advocate on their behalf, that they're protected, that they're taken care of. We all have aging parents who dedicated their lives to taking care of us, and now as they age, it's our job to take care of them and make sure that they're receiving the best care possible, and that when an issue does arise, the healthcare professionals that would be able to assess the situation and report it, that those healthcare professionals are protected. We often find in the education system that the education workers are expected to report suspected abuse in the children in their care, but are often, if they do come forward and bring that issue forward and it's found that it's not exactly accurate, that there's often reprisals for teachers for showing that they care and that they're concerned. So we need to make sure that the people who are charged with the care of our seniors have the means to come forward without reprisal and report suspected abuse. We need to make sure our seniors are being taken very well care of. And I notice that my time is running short, so I'd like to thank you for allowing me time to speak to the bill today, and I fully support the bill, and I hope that it doesn't get tied up in committee, and I hope that we can see some changes when it comes to taking care of our senior population.